Welcome to the Dawn of Intuition. I'm your host, JD Kindred, and this is the time to awaken to a new way of being. Are you feeling an inner call to make the world a better place or to live more joyfully? We each have this inner compass guiding us to our own unique purpose and gifts. As an intuition and empowerment expert, I dare you to take action on that gut feeling or inner knowing. Intuition is simply a muscle that needs to be strengthened. Whether you need it personally or professionally, your intuitive insights create space for new opportunities. Stay tuned with me for tips and tricks on listening to those quiet whispers of wisdom, my next retreat dates, or how to work with me. Are you ready to live the life of your dreams with more joy and ease? The Dawn of Intuition starts now. Welcome everyone to Transformation Talk Radio. The Dawn of Intuition, awaken to a new way of being. I am so excited about today's topic, which is intuition safe? So again, joining me, my twin sister, Jasmine Kindred. Welcome, Jasmine.
Thank you for having me again.
So this is a really fun topic. I have been studying a lot this past year, Kundalini Yoga, and which really helps reconnect mind, body, really reconnect to senses, body knowledge, any blocks, anything coming up. So that's been a real mission of mine this past year. And also I'm currently taking this course called the Divine Union of the Feminine and Masculine Facilitator Training. And we're going to be referencing a lot actually from my teacher's book, Katrina Boss. So yeah, today we're going to really talk about the difference of the masculine qualities of logic and structure and the feminine qualities of intuition and mystery. So what do you think about that?
I think we're going to have some differing views on this because I want to dive into the big question of, do you feel this world is safe to trust our intuition?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for me, I think it's changed. It changes year by year. When I was younger and I wasn't trusting my intuition, or when I maybe didn't have as many synchronicities in my life to kind of pull from as references, I felt very unsafe and I was very anxious. Like, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to this? What am I going to, can I travel alone? Like, I was very in my fear-based reality. And now, like, more I drop into really having reverence for the mystery of life. Life is a lot more magical, and I just see such amazing things, and things are unfolding even more beautifully than I could have planned for myself. So with more and more of those experiences in my life, I do trust the universe. I think that the universe is safe. I feel, even though this is a hard time, there's war going on in the world, like it physically may not be safe, like physically. And you being a social worker, you see kind of traumatic events all the time. I don't. I live in a very different reality and bubble than your bubble. So I have a different lens in life, like when I travel alone, and people literally protect me. Everywhere I go, people take care of me and protect me, and I feel very safe and I feel very protected by either earth angels, real angels, spirit. I don't know. I feel very protected. But what about you, Jasmine? Do you feel like the world is safe?
I think you are a guiding light. You are an inspiration to us to know that it can be safe. But starting off, building our intuition can be very challenging because I think our society as a whole really values logic, structure, and we devalue those feminine traits of intuition and receptivity and uncertainty. And because of our social conditioning, we don't trust those little hunches that we get. because there's no proof. There's nothing that, you know, we have that can give us the confidence moving forward. So I think a lot of trusting intuition is around unlearning that social conditioning and understanding the importance of masculine and feminine qualities that each person has within.
Yes. Yeah, I want to talk more about the masculine and feminine later, but just referencing back to the idea of safety. And I again quote from this book, Divine Union of the Masculine and Feminine by Katrina Boston. She writes, Einstein once said that the most important question we have to ask ourselves is if we believe the world is a safe place. My interpretation of that, especially in this context, is that if I trust that the world is a safe place, then it will be easier to trust my wildness, my intuition, my deep feminine. I will trust that if I listen and act on my inner guidance, things will turn out just fine. If I don't believe that the world is a safe place, then we must explore what it means to be wild. What if trusting our wild senses will keep us alive? What if our wildness taps into a reality that is deeper and older than the world that makes us feel so unsafe? Our journey then becomes to trust our primal self and the wild senses, allowing our wild feminine to lead the charge and our strong masculine to take the necessary steps to lead us on a path of safety. Now, I love this one story about embracing the wild feminine because the words like, sometimes it says, sometimes we fear wildness, to be feral and untamed. If I am wild, am I just crazy? Am I out of control? Well, yes, but that's not what you think. How do wild horses act in nature? Are they running helter shelter all over the place and acting crazy? No, of course not. They are just living no, they're just living the natural life of a horse. They are eating food, having babies, and sleeping. They move when there is danger and rest when it is safe. They live according to their instinct. They are connected with and to their environment. Are they out of control? Yes, they are not controlled. And it just made me go, oh, right, we don't have to fear our wild feminine. We don't have to fear, like, because the feminine qualities is mystery, chaos, wildness. And that's very scary for even ourselves. Like, even ourselves, of like, what if I am just my wild self? What will I do? Will I just abandon all responsibilities? It's like, no, I feel like I will naturally just recenter and become more of my authentic self. And why is that so scary?
Thank you for sharing that, because I love the story you told, because I do have those fears.
Hmm.
And there's so much stigma around embracing your femininity and the uncertainty and the chaos. That terrifies me because I do live in a very structured environment. So
Yeah, and talking about the masculine and feminine today, what we're talking about, I think you were curious about what is this, like, what is being a divine union of the feminine masculine facilitator look like? And I was sitting with this and I was like, great question. Like, I liked that you asked me this. And for me, I feel like it's what I'm always working on is self-acceptance and self-love. Like, that's, all of my issues come from self-worth. Like, I think a lot of humans. And I'm constantly seeing how can I accept all of me. And that is part of, we have the different sides. So my ultimate goal is coming back into wholeness. And when we talk about in this episode the masculine and feminine, it has nothing to do with what body we are born with. We can be born with any body. We all each have masculine, our inner masculine, and we have all our inner feminine. So it's this idea of like this inner marriage, and when I feel whole and complete with both my inner masculine and feminine, I don't need to look outside of myself. I don't need to look outside for a masculine to complete me. Or if you're a man, I don't need to look for, a feminine, woman or intuition to complete me. Like there's many, many businessmen who are extremely intuitive and pretty much, I would say the most successful businessmen tap into a higher knowledge because it's faster. I call it the fast lane. It's the highway to success. So they know this. And about really having this balance of, hey, we need both. And I talk about this. We can sit and meditate all day and receive all this guidance, which is the feminine receiving. But if we're not stepping into our masculine, which is doing and action, we're not going to be creating and manifesting our dreams in the world. So we really do need that balance. And my retreats and my workshops always talk about balance. I'm such a huge advocate for living a balanced life, and that's part of internally the masculine and feminine. How do you live your inner masculine and feminine? Do they fight? Do they live in harmony? Like what's your experience of living both?
Well, I've been learning about these concepts for a long time. So I do feel like I'm balanced now, where, but I would say I'm more in the masculine energy where I take action. I'm doing decisions. I'm not creating space to quiet my mind and be receptive to the the intuitive messages like you do. I don't carve out that time as much as you. But when when I'm in complete balance, I do feel like I'm just in the flow and I can just have the confidence and inspired action to follow through on my goals and live my true values. But I do love what you said about taking responsibility. If we each honor that we need to come into balance, if each person in this world comes into balance, naturally our society will become more balanced. Right now, there is an imbalance. So it's hard to take that courage and value both logic and intuition. But if we each do that individual work and yeah, I think that's what's going to balance the world.
Well, and also with peace. If we want peace in the world, we first need to have inner peace. We're always like fighting for, yeah, peace and peace. It's like, well, do you live in peace? Are you in harmony at all times? But then I want to go back to acceptance and accepting these different sides of ourselves. I think a lot in life we judge good, bad. This is a topic today of like, black and white and good and evil and good and bad and logic and intuition and, feminine, masculine, and all of these things. And it's like, we need to accept all of it and see the value in it all. When I was younger, I talk about almost every episode with you, like my anger. And I was just like, I was such an angry person before. So angry. As a child, I was tantruming all the time. And then as an adult, when I first moved here, I was angry 24/7. I'd go to bed angry, wake up angry, angry all the time. I don't know. I think maybe because I wasn't living on purpose. I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't in a relationship I could flourish and blossom. I felt very constricted and all of the things. So, but now I value like peace and zen and calm, intuition, and all of these nice qualities. But I'm going back. Last year, I did a lot of like workshops and shadow work on accepting the shadow and light. This is kind of what we're talking about today too, with my shadow side, which I really judged my anger. And I remember being at a retreat and we had to go and everyone was sitting around in a semicircle and we had to express all of our anger. And I am very ashamed. This is something where I'm like, I'm not angry anymore. Like I'm zen and peaceful now, and there's great value in anger, especially like when we can use anger to um, respect our boundaries and make change. For you have this fire that you protect your client so much. Like we need humans like you. to advocate for the people who can't advocate for themselves. Like, we need that fire, and that's beautiful. But I would judge it. And so I remember standing up, and they're like, okay, it's your turn, JD. And I stood up in front of the semicircle, and I had my back to everyone, and I'm screaming all my anger and rage from my past. It needs to come out, you know? And I was so ashamed. And then I turn around while I'm screaming hysterically. This is like a calm retreat center too. And I look over at everyone, and everyone is in a semicircle. And they were all like, just like the biggest smiles and just this pure love pouring from everyone. They're like, wow, JD, your anger is so beautiful. And in that moment, I shifted and I was like, oh, that is beautiful. Like the shadow parts of us can be beautiful. They can be accepted and welcomed. And so again, it's kind of these parts of us that we're trying to push down, maybe this wildness. Well, what if we allow it to come up? Are we going to be wild horses? No, we're going to be responsible beings living our true, authentic life, eating and being and enjoying spending time with who we want to spend time with. And like, it's the, I don't know. I loved that. I wasn't expecting to share that story, but it's again, wholeness, coming back to wholeness. And that's the masculine and feminine side. We have an intuitive insight, perfect. But then we can use our logical mind. The logic isn't bad. We use our logical mind to help us. Like, I get this amazing idea. I want to create a retreat center. Okay, great. That's my intuition. But I need logistic, set up a corporation, do accounting, go to a notary. I need to do like physical actions to be able to manifest that. So they are important. Both of those aspects of ourselves are important. I really want to touch on a topic today, which is the mystery, trusting mystery and the unknown. Mystery is another aspect of feminine chaos that has been put on the back burner or deleted altogether. Our world likes to focus on what we can see, touch, taste, feel, smell, and hear. We trust what we can see, count, and understand. This is the masculine. The feminine is the unseen. The feminine is everything that we can't experience with our five senses. That's why they call it intuition, the sixth sense. This is when you know something inside and others say, how do you know that? You can't prove it, yet you know it anyway. This is terrifying to most people. And I'm like this too. Like, I trust the universe. Okay. I trust the universe. I think it's safe. I think it has more of a magical plan for me than I have. Yet in my humanness, I'm still unsure of that mystery. And just yesterday, in a couple months from now, I will be renting my home for a month, and I need to leave. Like, I'm homeless for a month. And I had a couple months ago, well, not even a couple months ago, 1 month ago, I had every week planned. And then I had every week planned. And then that was plan A. And then I was like, okay, if anything changes, this will be my plan B. Within a month, all of those plans crumbled. Like, festivals and big things where hundreds of people were going, like big things, and going on trips and visiting this person, like real plans in my logical brain. All of that crumbled. And then I was like, okay, my plan B. And so kind of those are I'm feeling into them. Am I excited to do my plan B? I don't know. And I was doing my Kundalini yoga yesterday, and I receive a lot of guidance when I'm really more in the present moment with my, in the moment with my body sensations. And I received this message, which was like, that's the message: surrender to the mystery. I was like, oh, that's hard. Even me, I'm talking about this. I have a show on this. Surrender to the mystery. And I was like, okay, I got to walk my talk. I really have to walk my talk. And then I was like, okay, I have these plans every week, 4 weeks. Those all crumbled. And then I'm like, okay, I don't know. I could literally hop in a car and drive anywhere. in North America. I could hop on a plane and fly anywhere in the world. Like there are so many infinite opportunities and choices. And that's when it becomes, I find, more difficult to trust our intuition just by the sheer vast opportunities a lot of people have in North America. We're very lucky to have so many opportunities, but it becomes even more difficult because then I'm in my brain like, what should I do? Where should I go? And then I'm like, oh, okay, I just surrender to the mystery, surrender to the mystery, surrender to the mystery. So then my yoga is done. I jump on to my computer for a class and I look at my email, and an email came through from a retreat center where I did my Hatha yoga teacher training. And they sent this like, oh, we're creating these immersion retreats now, super new immersion retreats. Come stay for a month. Or they said something like, pay for 3 weeks, which was very affordable. And then your fourth week is free. Cause I'm looking for 1 month things, And I was not even in my brain at all. Like that was like the last place I thought I would go. Like, why would I go to Costa Rica in a rainy season? That doesn't make any sense. I'm planning to go already like, Christmas, the fall, late fall. That's when I'm going to be doing some retreats actually in Costa Rica. This was not even in my mindset. And then I was like, weird. So then I was in a class right after, and in the class there was a group of maybe 5 of us, and one of the women and I'm always looking for signs, I'm always open to signs, and the woman was talking and she was in the state, she goes, that's it, I me and my husband, we're going to sell our house and we're going to take our 4 boys and we're moving to Costa Rica. And I was like, what? Why am I hearing this like 2 times just in the like last hour? So I really got So then I started researching online and like, well, maybe I could go there for a month. That wasn't in my plan, my logical plan, but things are coming up and I want to surrender to some mystery. And now they didn't have this last year, but this year they created a work exchange program, and they had closed that for a long time. And so I could literally go there and they say, come and bring your gifts. So if you are a facilitator, I'm a yoga teacher, I can go and contribute to this community, and live in community and eat really healthy and do yoga and meditate every day and, write and just all of to fuel my soul. But it's like, oh, I didn't even know I needed this or wanted this. Anyways, it was a really nice message of just surrender to the mystery.
Well, and I love that you're willing to trust the signs, because I think mystery to me means uncertainty. And that uncertainty naturally creates anxiety. We're programmed to want to know what's happening, what's going to happen next for us. And it takes a little bit of challenging our negative thinking traps or our unhelpful belief systems around in walking in faith, taking the leap of faith, or finding excitement in the mystery, right? Reframing that and realizing life can be magical if we decide to go on the flow and we don't have to have everything planned out.
Well, I know. And it's like people ask me, okay, what's your plan? What's your plan? And I'm just like, literally every day, something so mysterious and unknown and surprising for me happens. How on earth can I know what I will be doing in 3 months? Like, I know I need
Yeah.
logistically, I need to write an application. I need to book flights. I need to step in my masculine, but I need a few more days to just feel into it because I want to be excited. That for me, it's that feeling of excitement and joy is a sign. So I want to, okay, in a couple days, can I still feel this excitement, or is it, so I'm going to sit with this. I'm going to meditate with this for a couple days and still see if I'm really excited, because that's a big effort. But you said something really interesting, and that's what I want to actually quote this book again, and it's a topic of the thrill of intuition. This thrill is similar to the exploration of chaos. It is the unknown that draws us. What will come to us that is new and unexpected? So, every time we trust them, making decisions becomes easier. We become confident in our intuitive process. And eventually we'll start to trust it more than our logical minds. Our logical mind simply steps up to support what we know intuitively. This creates incredible conviction and inner strength in the face of adversity while taking positive steps along our life's journey. So,
Yeah,
what do you think of it?
I think if people repeatedly remind themselves of that, that will help deprogram the way we've been socialized. We have to keep reminding ourselves that it is safe, and our logical mind is our primitive mind that's there to limit us and protect us. And it's our intuition that makes us expand and grow and enjoy life, enjoy the mystery. So, yeah, we just remind ourselves of that,
But also to have,
and reminding ourselves of the benefits of becoming whole and embracing both parts of ourselves, that masculine and feminine energy, so we can feel and aligned to walk this world the way we want to, without being too focused on what does society want us to do or what does our parents want from us. No, it goes back to, we have inner wisdom. We know what is best for ourselves. We know, we have the values. We want to just, yeah, be authentic to ourselves, like you say.
and also to have compassion for where we're at. I feel like I live very intuitively. And when I'm put to the test and I'm, homeless in a couple months, it's another, ooh, I have to go really deep in because my rational mind wants to have a plan 3 months from now.
Yeah.
And I live and I talk and I trust the universe and I trust that I'll be taken care of. But I feel like, oh, I really have to go really deep into my surrender. Just yesterday, I had one of my best friends reach out to me who we weren't in contact for about a year and a half. She needed to take care of herself physically and mentally. And I had no idea. It's like just that it was another reminder of the unknown. And now, this whole new friendship is rekindled and just following my intuition and, meeting a new neighbor and having like just all like it's just impossible to plan. And I also want to talk about, the mother nature, the earth is feminine and she's very strong, and yet mother nature is so wild. Like we, especially, where we were brought up in Saskatchewan, we can have 30-degree temperature changes within a day, and her wildness, and we don't judge that. We're like, oh, okay, it's snowing today and sunny the next day, and we're just brought up like that's okay. Mother nature is wild and beautiful, and to accept that in ourselves.
Yeah. And that's what we've learned in Vipassana, that we are the law of nature. We are always changing, just like Mother Nature. And it's okay. We want to embrace that. We don't need to stay rigid in a structure. We can be free flowing and wild in any moment. Yeah.
Wonderful. Any last insights or things you want to share about this topic, Jasmine?
I just love that you talk about that acceptance of yourself. And if we can truly accept the messages we're getting, what we truly want, where we're at in life, that's when we that's when we create space to start building ourselves up to yeah, live our truth. And
Yeah.
what about you? What's your last?
Well, I love this topic. This is why I want to actually create more and more, maybe even retreats in the future, I would say, about merging this divine union of the masculine and feminine within, um, accepting both aspects of ourselves, both sides of ourselves, And, I invite all of the listeners, check out my website, www.intuitivebusinessconnections.com. You will see new retreats being launched. You can see how you can work with me one-to-one through coaching online. I have my book. I have, lots of other videos, even with other shows with Jasmine. So I really encourage everyone to join me there, and I look forward to seeing you guys all next time. Bye for now.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to The Dawn of Intuition. I'm your host, JD Kindred. Tune in every first and third Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as we learn to listen to that quiet whisper of wisdom from our higher selves. Dare to dream bigger, take inspired action, and live your authentic truth. Live an intuitive life, feeling more joyful and empowered in everything you do. For more tips and tricks, follow me online at www.intuitivebusinessconnections.com.